Good evening, hockey fans, and welcome to tonight's contest between Dublin, Jerome and Springboro Panthers. Now, the start line of the visitors, Dublin, Jerome. At forward, number 3, James Hawkins. At defense, number 8, Adam Burnett. At forward, number 10, Dalton Miller. At defense, number 12, Ryan Jensen. At forward, number 24, Connor Patrick. In goal, number 34, Harrison Graff. Starting lineup for the Springboro Panthers. At the bench, number 4, Mark Lacone. The bench, number 37, Matthew Porter. Forward, number 17, Brendan Higgins. Forward, number 97, Zach Miles. Forward, number 68, Jason Long. In goal, number 54, Jay Timmons. Now, if you please rise and play on ambulance.
Hello and welcome back to the YouTube home of South Metro Sports as we have a dandy game on our hands tonight as the Springboro Panthers, who coming off a 1-1 week thus far with a 7-1 win at Kettering Alter and a 3-1 loss at Zionsville, Indiana and Carmel in Central Indiana, will take on the number 1 team in the Columbus District and the number 6 team in the state rankings, the Celtics of Dublin, Jerome. This is Lee W. Mound with you here. Again, thank you for making us a part of your Saturday evening. The Celtics are in the Irish green kit, a dark green kit with white letters and numbers and pale gold trim. And it will be Harrison Graff in the net for Dublin Jerome. Jay Kiplinger's in the net for Springboro, donning the white kit and the blue numbers and gray trim. And Brandon Hillard, the first centerman to start for Springboro tonight, gets us underway. Earlier in the season, Springboro did defeat Dublin Jerome via shootout. As the puck now controlled by Dalton Miller. Quickly in his attacking zone is Dalton Miller. Leaves it by the left point. Sent off Matthew Afford's ankles from in front of the blue line. I believe Ryan Jenkins had that blast. Patchett trying to reel it in. Carter Patchett. The Celtics back in their own zone. Picking up the puck with 14:21 to go in the first. Left wing time for Carter Patchett. Miller's right there. Now scooped up by Brandon Hillard of Springboro in front of Patchett towards the left. For Springboro, the key of the game is always defense, and Jay Kiplinger gives you a solid cornerstone to work around. But with the absence of Mason Hobbs, because of a concussion, the Panthers are going to heavily rely on their defensemen out there, especially Captain Marshall Cohen. As the Celtics chip it into the right corner and go for a swap, Dalton Miller, after it bounces off his stick, will go into the Dublin Jerome bench. Combined Dublin and Celtics right there. I'm good at mixing up words. 13:35, here's a shot going high, taken by J.P. Weaver of Dublin Jerome. Towards the side of the net, here's Wheeler, lost the handle in front of Kiplinger, picks it back up Zamboni corner, and loops over the head of Matthew Afford. Here's Coleman Hauser going to work down low. Afford now with a puck in front, towards the left, past Hauser, it's Sam Hickson, and it's controlled again on the red line by Dublin Jerome. Celtics and Panthers are scoreless here. Last home game of the regular season for Springboro, the second to last conference game for the Panthers. And for Dublin Jerome, this is the last league game of the season. Dublin Jerome is 14-1 in conference play on the year. Springboro 7-5, 1-1. Picked up by Marshall Cohen, going towards his right for Springboro for Jason Long on the starting line with Zach Meyer. Afforded trying to keep it away out of the reach of Christopher Posacki. To the right corner now, Cohen again for the Panthers. 12:33 to go in the first. No score. Now for Hickson. Hickson works his way into the neutral zone, opposite of Jason Long. Shot down low on Graff, and a save by Harrison Graff with 12:24 to go in the first. Celtics and the Panthers are scoreless. I mentioned that this Dublin Jerome team tops in the Columbus District, which also includes Cincinnati and Dayton teams. Dublin Jerome picking up 145 total votes, which is 8 more than Olentangy Liberty. The Patriots also a very good hockey team. As Meyer slows it down, here's Marshall Cohen, blocked off the backside of Ryan Jenkins, who returns to the ice for the Celtics. 12:05 to go in the first. No scores. The Celtics in their own zone. Justin Peters recovers behind the referee crease. Swings it towards the left out of the reach of Marshall Cohen, and Jerome back on top of it. Around the corners it goes as Peters back in front of the Zamboni doors. Scoops it up behind Jay Kiplinger's net. Peters off the glass past Meyer. In the neutral zone, recovered by Adam Bervin. 11:39 to go in the first. Now here's Augenstein towards the slot. Lots of bodies in front. Puck goes the other way against the Celtics, and Meyer now in a sea of green swings it towards the left, and Harrison Graff will come out of his crease and let it go for the Celts. 11:20 to go in the first. No score. Dublin Jerome taking on Springboro here at South Metro Sportsplex. The last league game is tomorrow morning in Springfield. Here's a blast by Hickson going wide. Hickson is the Springboro leading scorer As now at the left point, it's jammed up. Loose puck swept by Coleman Hauser, but intercepted by Dublin Jerome. Adam Burvin, straight ahead, picked up by Hickson, goes for Cohen. Left wing, Cohen up top, flings one off a Graff. The loose puck will roll slowly to Harrison Graff. A nice rotation job by Harrison Graff. And the stoppage of play with 10:48 to go in the first. No score between Dublin Jerome and Springboro. Going back to Week 7 of the Columbus District rankings, Dublin Jerome 145, Olentangy Liberty 137, and your last team to get triple digits with votes, St. Charles with 119, which is 26 behind Dublin Jerome, and 6th in the state is Dublin Jerome. St. Ignatius is your number 1 team in the state of Ohio. Nice drop back, but a nice defensive poke away by Hickson and Cohen, as Halverson, who had a hat trick against Alter at Kettering the other day. Now Hickson, right wing, Halverson in the middle. Hickson lost the handle, and Jerome rips it away. Here's Augenstein towards the left wing in front for Carter Patchett. In the Zamboni corner, Marshall Cohen has it with 10:12 to go in the first. A quick moving first period. Just a whistle or two on a stop, and that's been it. Afforded flings it high. A right-hand catch by the Celtics' Dalton Miller. Right corner, Conte on the tail. Here's Augenstein right in the corner. 3 Panthers trying to shoo it away, and Miller comes up with it. Towards the slot, no one there in green for Jerome. Here's Halverson, swings it around Miller. Now the reach of Conte on the bounce. Hillard races for it. Augenstein back with it, left point. Towards the slot, Conte bats it towards the neutral zone, and Augenstein quickly on there. These Celtics move quick, very forceful with the puck. And now the loose puck out of the reach of Marshall Cohen. Dalton Miller going back to work right wing in Dublin Jerome's attacking zone. Towards Jason Long, who goes straight ahead. Marshall Cohen trails. Long swings and lost the handle and crashes into the net, as the net does a whole 90-degree turn behind the back of Harrison Graff. 9:16 to play in the first on a packed house here at South Metro Sportsplex. No score between Dublin Jerome and Springboro. Like I mentioned, Springboro 1-1 on this week with a 7-1 win at Kettering Alter. Luke Halverson with a hat trick for the Panthers. That's talking over Coach Tony Morris. This battle also features 2 long-tenured coaches. Tony Morris has been here, I believe, 10 years as the HC, former Wright State Raider hockey player. And Patrick Murphy, the head coach of Dublin Jerome, who was the first head coach the first season back in 2004-2005. Hickson down low and Graff stop. 9:10 to play in the first, no score. Also, assistant coach for Jerome, Patrick Mayfield. He's in his 10th season at the helm. And if I remember my notes right from Dublin hockey, both were transplants to Columbus. As now Coleman Hauser for the face-off. Stood up with a barrage of Celtics. Avery Malicki with the body check. Here's Schroeder red line towards the left. Hauser U-turns around back to the Celtics. And now defensive pressure as Vince Comfort, his first touch with the puck, swings it towards the left for Malicki. Working left wing against Hauser. Hauser to work. Spun around. Malicki pulls it back out. Behind is J.P. Weaver. 8:40 to go in the first. No score between the Celtics and the Panthers. Weaver right in the tail of a Panther, trying to move it forward right wing. Here's Peters. Peters pass to Celtics. Feeds Hickson. Now for Schroeder left wing. Now met up in a sea of Celtic green. To the left face-off circle. Ripped away. I believe that was J.P. Weaver out there. Staying on the right wing, here's Brian Wheeler. Lost the handle with 8:12 to play in the first. Peters strips it away, now takes it away. Walking into the front line of Dublin Jerome. The logo of Dublin Jerome, in case you don't know, if you're a Celtic fan, you will know, but it's a Celtic knot. I always was questioning what that exactly was. It's a Celtic knot. I learn something new every day. I did know that the Dublin School District, which is 3 schools, Jerome, Kaufman, who was just here last week or possibly 2 weeks ago. I've lost track of time, let's be honest. And Scioto. Out here is Ethan French behind the cage of Kiplinger for Christopher Posacki. Now here's Meyer stripped away underneath the body of Evan Shea. Shea towards the right corner. Cohen's going to get there first with 7:20 to play in the first. And no score between the Panthers and the Celtics. Shot from the left point off the backside of Chris Posacki. Now for Hillard off the right boards. Controlled again by defenseman Ryan Jenkins. Going towards the right, it's Peters. Straight ahead, Meyer past him. Swept in by Christopher Posacki. And now a one-on-one battle towards the Zamboni corner. Adam Booth for Dublin Jerome with some help from Joel Eisenson. Eisenson reaching for it. Right. Now the reach of Conte towards the end line, and that hits off. Looked like it was going to hit off the net, but that's icing against Springboro. Just about our second whistle on the first period. We've already played a solid chunk of the opening frame. And 6:45 to go in the first. Great battle thus far, but no score between Dublin Jerome and Springboro. Hauser going against the Celtics. That was Brandon King on the face-off for the green Celtics. Eisenson back to King off the right foot. Afford it. Swings a stick. Here's Hauser over Eisenson. And it's Long with the feed. Hickson with the feed. Here's Schroeder picking up right side. And that goes in front of Graff. 6:19 to go in the first. Back to Dublin Jerome. Right wing afforded off the boards. Picked up once again by Hauser. Loose puck. Marshall Cohen lets it go. And that's going to be icing with 6:10 to go in the first. No score between the Celtics and the Panthers. Backups today in the goal is Jake Kirby for Springboro. Soon to head to Western Kentucky U. He is a senior, one of 7 honored. Senior day against Moeller. Crusaders won that game 1-0. And the backup is Ryan Norkin for the Celtics. Graff gets the start, as does Kiplinger. Graff leans over towards his left, slides back, now looks over towards the right as it's in the neutral zone, the puck. Swept towards the right gently by Meyer, where Cohen picks it up out of the reach of Carter Patchett. Celtics in their attacking zone, but not for long with Hillard. Cut off by Patchett in the referee crease. Puck still going backward on the Celtics defense. 5:36 to go in the first, no score. Hillard was knocked down, pushes it forward. Here's Marshall Cohen. Going to help out at the point, over the hand of Hillard, and scooped away by Nick Augenstein again. Augenstein kicks a stick forward. That's the stick of Hillard, who will go back to the bench. Now here's Patchett, stuck off a Springboro stick on the shot, and that's off the Panthers. We'll keep it in front of Kiplinger with 5:16 to go in the first. And a great battle thus far. Dublin Jerome at Springboro, and there is no score. Again for Dublin Jerome, last league game of the regular season. Dublin Jerome already with a place in the Columbus Blue Jackets Cup. That's the Capital Hockey Conference League Tournament. Springboro looking to clinch the third spot in the white division. The top 4 get in the red, top 3 for the white, and just 1 in the blue, and that's Bishop Watterson. Picked back up by Dublin Jerome. It's Malicki, right wing, in front of Kiplinger. Back for J.P. Weaver. Round the right corner, spun around, push forward. Now here's a attack in the slot and the rebound. J.P. Weaver. Score for Dublin Jerome, and it's 1-0 Celtics with 4:47 to go in the first. Great work using the rebound, and the Celtics strike first in this contest. Face-off is Coleman Hauser squaring up with Brian Wheeler. Stuck on the dot. Pushed forward. Hickson trying to break free. Picked up by Malicki on the left wing. Guard against Hauser. Now here's Peters. The two Panthers knock down the Celtic, but Wheeler gets it loose. Left point. Here's Hickson. Unable to pull the shot. Now off the shaft of the stick of Hickson. Behind the cage of Kiplinger. Now in front of the goal line, it's Cohen. Blast blocked by Schroeder. Here's Ryan Schroeder looking to tie things up as it's a 1-0 Dublin Jerome lead. as Graff watches back. And down this way goes J.P. Wheeler, right wing. Lost his balance, checked by Marshall Cohen. Weaver still with the drive. Weaver heading towards the point, flicks it back. Here's Burvin giving way for Ethan French. Left corner, here's Peters now. Hillard, loose puck behind his left leg, scoops it up just out of the reach of Christopher Posacki. And all the way to the end boards, the puck will bounce, and that's icing on Springboro. With 3:45 to go in the first, and a 1-0 Dublin Jerome lead. I believe J.P. Weaver gets the rebound home on the right side. Currently watching the timeline of Dublin Jerome, which, if you love Twitter, and you know I do, well, maybe you don't know that, but now you do. For Dublin Jerome, it's DJHS Hockey, and for Springboro, it's Boro Ice Hockey, B-O-R-O Ice Hockey. That's out of here past the photographer. We'll drop it to the right of Kiplinger with 3:33 to go in the first. Celtics up 1-0. Christopher Posacki and Shea making the slow skate towards the bench along with French. Want to thank whoever runs the Dublin Jerome Hockey Twitter account for the shout-out on the broadcast link. Bouncing off a couple bodies, loose puck right wing. Here comes Nate Kolenda. Now for Marshall Cohen in front of Eisenson. Swept around, picked up by the captain, skipped high off the glass. Eisenson, now Booth trying to sneak it home. Picked up by Affordit. Looking for long, broken up by Brendan King. 3:04 to go in the first. Jerome up 1-0. And Booth almost turned one in for another goal, but that goes wide of the cage of Kiplinger. Zamboni corner time for King as he tangles with two Panthers. Here comes a second Celtic to knock it free. That's Booth. Booth with the drive off the post. And back to Springboro's Affordit. Slowed down by Booth. Puck underneath Eisenson. 1-0 Jerome with 2:39 to go in the first. And Hillard will wing it into the left hand of Kellen Posacki. Kellen Posacki. Now right wing time for Kolenda, who dons the Jerome C towards Kiplinger. Loose puck still grabbed by the Celtics. Eisenson with the final feed, and Kiplinger holds on tight. 2:21 to go in the first as Dublin Jerome with a 1-0 lead against Springboro. Very successful program, as Dublin Jerome got their program going in 2004. The whole spread of hockey, thanks to the Columbus Blue Jackets, which you can thank the Columbus Chill, the ECHL, for that. Off the side of the net, Kiplinger quickly with the left hand down low. A stop by Jay Kiplinger. 2:14 to go in the first. Still 1-0 Celtics. These Celtics have won the CBJ Cup in 2006, 2007, 2008, 2010, 2012, 2013, and 2017. Last year, a 7-5 win against the Patriots of Liberty. Picked up by Augenstein. Looks at his field. Here's Patchett awaiting in the Zamboni corner. There's a shot. Kiplinger denies that. Around the corner off Marshall Cohen. The Celtics have held the puck quite well in their attacking zone. But now here comes Hickson looking to change things. Right wing, guarded by Patchett. Hickson takes it to the right corner against Patchett. Hickson knocked down. Loose puck swept towards the point for Marshall Cohen. Send it wide of Harrison Graff's net. Back on the other side, scooped up by Dalton Miller. Bouncing one, Augenstein plays it. And curves towards the slot, left it behind, clean up. Here's Patchett, and that's off the shoulders of Kiplinger. Carter Patchett with a shot. 1:19 to go in the first. Still 1-0 Celtics. Patchett again sends it high, this time off over the shoulders of Kiplinger. Controlled now by Schroeder. And they'll try someone on target, but that's well wide right of Harrison Graff. And a face-off awaits us in front of Kiplinger due to the Panthers icing. 1-0 Dublin Jerome is your score here from South Metro Sportsplex. Also Dublin Jerome, district champs in 2015. In terms of longevity, this would be, what, season 15 for Dublin Jerome, but lots of success for this young Celtic club. Here's a battle behind Kiplinger as Meyer shouldering Avery Malicki. Around the left corner, waiting at the point is Wheeler. Flips it towards the glass. Weaver shoved away by Cohen. And the loose puck picked up by Malicki. So we're down to 41 seconds to go in the opening period. Malicki checked by Cohen. And the right boards. Push it forward. It's Hillard. Hillard trying to scoop it towards the point. Malicki crashes into long. Zips past Kiplinger wide. And Peters has it. Almost caned forward by Brian Wheeler. Back to Wheeler. Wheeler swings it off the side of the net and stopped by Kiplinger with 19.5 seconds to go in the first. Celtics up 1-0. I believe J.P. Weaver had the goal for Dublin Jerome. Like I mentioned, this is the last home game of the regular season for Springboro, as tomorrow the Panthers will go to Springfield, which is in Clark County, if you know your geography of Dayton. Here is Hickson. As Graff comes out of his crease, knocks it to the corner. 5 seconds left, past Hauser. Here's Cohen, sweeping it forward. Last second, incoming afforded. And that's 15 minutes in the books, as Dublin Jerome takes a 1-0 lead against the Springboro Panthers here at South Metro Sportsplex. Great game thus far. Very quick first period. And looks like we are going to have an ice cut. It looked like the Panthers start heading towards the doors. And yes, indeed, we will have an ice cut. Here come the Panthers. They'll be followed by the Celtics. As it's 1-0 Dublin Jerome. After 15 minutes of play, great first period. Second period after this, after the Zamboni. Here in the home of South Metro Sports on YouTube. We'll be back after this. Dublin Jerome leads Springboro 1-0 on the goal from J.P. Weaver, and the assist, Avery Malicki, and also Brian Wheeler, as Carter Patchett takes the first face-off for the Celtics, as Dublin Jerome and the Greens go up, and Springboro and the home whites go down the ice. Harrison Graff now in front of us, as Jay Kiplinger on the farthest side of the ice. Great battle on hand. It's 1-0 Dublin Jerome. Top team in the Columbus District Week 7 poll, and also number 6 in the state of Ohio. If you know your state of Ohio hockey, you know that Northern Ohio is the place to be. Central Ohio's no slouch in the hockey category. Here's a shot, and Graff kicks it over with his left knee. That was Hickson taking a shot and a whistle, and our first penalty of the game is interference. After a penalty-free, quick first period, we have our first penalty, and it's interference. And that will be going against one of these two teams on the ice. No, we're going to charge it to a third team, you know. It's Sam Hickson for interference, and Dublin Jerome will be going to the penalty box. In case this is your first time listening to me, I'm kind of snarky in my humor. Don't take it too seriously. I mean, heck, this afternoon, the other team I broadcast for, Centerville, they were hosting Perrysburg, and they were in Darth Vader-inspired kit. It took me everything I had to keep all the puns out for the third period. Anyway, Dublin Jerome, first power play of the game, 10 seconds in, trapped at the right point now by Ryan Jenkins. Going right face-off circle, back out, blocked by Marshall Cohen. Jenkins again between the points, off the backside of Hauser, controlled by the Celtics, left corner. This broadcast, by the way, is brought to you by Dewey's Pizza at Austin Landing, Pep Boys, and Dayton Children's Hospital. Blocked by Kiplinger. He slides back down towards his right. 1:25 to go. No clears yet by the Panthers. PK Sell down low. 5-hole stop. And Jay Kiplinger with the trap with 13:43 to go in the second. Jerome leads Springboro 1-0 off the goal from J.P. Weaver. A quick moving first period. And now we're in the second period. We have a great turnout of fans. The Celtic fans from the northwest part of Dublin, Ohio. And Springboro fans, the Borough Blue crew, they always pack South Metro Sportsplex. It's great to see so many people here catching this game of hockey. And of course, you can make it. You're watching it here with me, and hope you're having a good time this Saturday night. Left corner, back for the Celts. At the left point is Bervin, Adam Bervin. Going to the face-off circle, shot goes wide by Brian Wheeler. Had the one of two assists on the goal by Weaver, and there's the first clear of the power play for Springboro's. Now Bervin comes back and looks over towards his right. Here comes Wheeler. Speeds it over towards the left. It's back to Weaver. Weaver's shot rainbows over the net of one Jay Kiplinger. Springboro trying to clear it. Nice job at the right point. I believe that was Kellen Posacki. Now back for the Celtics in the neutral zone. Going backwards is Avery Malecki. Had the second assist on Weaver's goal. It's 1-0 Celtics with 15 seconds left. From the left face-off circle, jammed up in front of Kiplinger. Rebound. Kiplinger closes that side of the door shut, but kept in nicely in front of the blue line by Kellen Posacki. Graff will slap his goalie stick on the ice to signal that his team that the power play is almost up, and now it is up as Hickson has served his 2 for interference, and Dublin Jerome is 0 for 1 the power play. Shot goes wide by the Celtics. By the way, the shots on goal after one favor the Celtics 5-3. That's shots on goal and 4 saves for Kiplinger, and the one that went in, J.P. Weaver scores. Springboro in a one-on-one towards the right corner, halted as soon as Hickson gets in the attacking zone, as that's icing on the Panthers, and going back in front of Kiplinger we go. 11:58 to go in the second, where it's 1-0 for Dublin Jerome. As we look at the standings, it is a 3-division Capital Hockey Conference, red, white, and blue, where it's the top 4 teams in the red getting in, the top 3 in the white, and 1 in the blue, and that's Bishop Watterson. That's already been decided. The Bishop Watterson Eagles 10-4 in conference play. We'll get over the red and white as Jerome on the attack. Believe that was Christopher Posacki trapped in the end boards. Looks back out for an outlet. Going on the help side, loose puck. Trapped away by Jack Moses. Make that French, excuse me. Swept back. Now it's Moses at the right point. Out of the reach of Christopher Posacki. Going left corner, a push from behind on Justin Peters. 11:20 to go in the second. 1-0 Dublin Jerome. Swung around down low, 5-hole stop by Jay Kiplinger. Now we look at the white division. Dublin Kaufman is the one team out. The top 3 get in, and Muller's clinched their top spot. They beat Olentangy Orange 7-2 tonight. So the Crusaders now 11-3-1 in conference play. Here comes Springboro back this way. It's Hickson trying to get it back across the dash marks and picked up by Joel Eisenson. Straight ahead looking for Kellen Posacki. Left wing time. Scooped up by Kolenda, the captain of the Celtics. Picked up by Coleman Hauser. Marshall Cohen left corner. Swept in by the Celtics. Here's a feed in towards the point and score it. Kellen Posacki. 2-0 Dublin Jerome. 10:44 to go in the second. Nice shot at the point, getting past Kiplinger. And the Celtics double their lead to 2-0. We go in the red division as Dublin Jerome has locked in their place. Top 4 get in. New Albany, the 5th place team. They will not get in the championship round, the CBJ Cup. Everyone gets in, but it depends on what half you are. That's going to be icing on Springboro with 10:34 to go in the second. In front of Kiplinger we go. Celtics have scored 1 in the first and in the second. So, the reason why you want to be top 4 in the red, top 3 in the white, and the top in blue, because you go to the championship round, you play for the CBJ Cup. Again, the league tournament, swept in by Adam Booth, right wing. Doesn't get to Kiplinger, but back to Booth it goes. Cleanup job. Like I mentioned, these Celtics are very, very quick. It seems like when the puck goes on the open side of the ice, there's 3 Celtics quickly flashing over towards the other side, and vice versa. Springboro back with the puck as a Fordic going straight ahead. The Celtics have also done a nice job with the offensive possessions in their attacking zone. They don't give the puck up that easily. Eisenson right wing down low, saved by Jay Kiplinger with 9:51 to go in the second. It's 2-0 Celtics. Harrison Graff in net, opposite of Jay Kiplinger. Backups are Jake Kirby for Springboro and Ryan Norkin of Dublin Jerome. So the Celtics are on top, like I mentioned, a very impressive 14-1 record. Looking to make it 15-1 tonight and currently up on Springboro 2-0. Springboro 3 points ahead of Olentangy Orange. The 2 games they played earlier this week are non-conference games, including the game in Central Indiana against Zionsville. A late game last night. Now here's Springboro working a 3-on-3 this way. Shot on Graff. Rebound swept back by defenseman in Ryan Jenkins. Now the reach of Dalton Miller, excuse me. Hickson now, left face-off circle. Shot off Graff. Rebound swept off the left leg of Graff, who falls back and kicks out his left leg. And now racing forward is Dalton Miller. 2-on-1 back this way. Loose puck. And sent wide on a third Celtic closing in. Marshall Cohen battling now. I believe that's Augenstein out there. Pulled back by Dalton Miller. Here's a blast at the right point. Sails high from Adam Bervin. Now left corner back to the Celtics. 8:49 to go. Bounced off Kiplinger. Bouncing down low, and it's Kiplinger trapping it with 8:45 to go in the second and a 2-0 Springboro deficit. So again, Dublin Jerome currently 14-1 in league play. Mentioned early on the season, Springboro defeated the Celtics in a shootout 3-2. Quite the big win for Springboro. That was part of the Thanksgiving tournament. Face off to the right of Kiplinger. In the left corner, drop back. Malicki trying to close in. Back to Malicki, looks towards the net, and fires it on home. Avery Malicki, goal number 3 for Dublin Jerome, and the Celtics are now up 3-0 with 8:32 to go in the second. 2 goals in the second for the Celts in green. Celts diagonally on the jersey with the white numbers and pale gold trim. Third goal on the night for Dublin Jerome. This one scored by Avery Malicki. Now at least 2 points for Malicki. Here's one towards Kiplinger by Brian Wheeler, and there's a save by Jay Kiplinger. 8:27 to go in the second. 3-0 Celtics now. So going back to the standings, Jerome, Olentangy, they've locked up their places as 1 and 2 respectfully. The Patriots 12-2 and 1. They won here at South Metro 3-1 against the Panthers. That was a great call, or a great game rather. 8:15 to go in the second. Remember that call was quite smooth as Comfort hits it off of Kiplinger, off the protective net and off the board out there, which I'm told is a piece of plexiglass wrapped up with the protective film, you know, when you use to transfer glass around, because you can't have glass on glass and it breaks easier. At least I think that's how it is. Also in the red division, St. Charles and Upper Arlington, 2 points away. St. Charles, they just won via shootout against Thomas Worthington, I believe. I'm getting all this stuff from Ohio HS Hockey. That's also on Twitter. Like I said, this broadcaster loves some Twitter. Picked up by Kellen Posaki. He's got the second goal on the day for Dublin Jerome. Here's French in the left corner, squeezed by Jason Long, and a second Panther behind him, Matthew Affordit. Brandon Hillard looking for the cleanup. And it's picked up by Dublin Jerome with 7:39 to go in the second. 3-0 Celtics towards Kiplinger into the glove of Jay. And a stoppage of play with 7:35 to go in the second. 3-0 Dublin Jerome. So it's the Celtics, the Patriots of Liberty, St. Charles, and Upper Arlington, your top 4. Your top 3, Moeller clinched the number 1 spot. Olentangy came into the night with 16 points. So Springboro, good swing for the Panthers, possibly. Got a 3-0 hole right now, and Bishop Larson, the top team in the blue tomorrow in Springfield, which is about the halfway point between the squads, and it's an 11:30 a.m. game for the Panthers. Hickson, wide of Graff, missing the post by just a hair or so. Here's Schroeder towards the slot. Great defense by Kellen Posaki. The Panthers can't get it to Hickson with 7:04 to go in the second, but the Panthers quickly back with the puck. Kellen Posaki, left wing, towards the left. Here's Peters closing in. Ethan French awaits at the point. Flipped away from the protective net, and Kellen Posaki going on the other side for Shea. Shea will send a skipper before he goes to the bench, replaced by 2 Celtics, Jenkins and Adam Booth back out there with Bervin too. Now here's Springboro. Nice moves by Cohen. Saved by Graff off the right leg of Harrison Graff. Hauser keeps it nicely in the right point. Fings it in. Graff stop. Rebound. Poked loose by Hickson. And Hickson and Hauser work. And Bervin, Adam Bervin going to work on the right wing, picked up by Springboro, who has kicked on the offensive jets so far. A couple of attacks turned. Top shelf for Schroeder and ripped down by Harrison Graff. 6:13 to go in the second. 3-0 Dublin Jerome. Gives a chance to look at the opposition goalie's mask. Like I mentioned, wasn't sure what the Jerome logo was. The one on DJHS Hockey, that's a cool logo. I'm talking about the Celtic knock that's shot high, and that's all on Dublin Jerome, so we'll go in the neutral zone with the Celtics up 3-0. 6:02 and the clock continues to roll. Now stopped at 5:57. Push towards the Springboro bench, off the face-off. Peters on top of a down Celtic. Closing it is Ryan Jenkins, left wing. End boards. Here's a Fortit, back-to-back with Joel Eisenson. In the left corner, here comes Booth tumbling through. Picked up by Springboro. Lots of open ice. And a nice pass up top. Here comes a Fortit. He'll shoot one. That's off the goalie stick of Graff. Controlled by Peters. That was Meyer, actually, with the shot. Fortit dropping back in the neutral zone on a whistle, and elbowing has been called. Elbowing the call with 5:49 to go in the second. Dublin Jerome 3, Springboro 0. And to the box, we'll see Brendan King. First penalty against Dublin Jerome, just the second infraction on the game. It's a minor elbow call. So Springboro will have their first power play of the game with 5:49 to go in the second. Graff's helmet has the Celtic loop with green and gold in it. On the right, a big block D with Jerome arcing through the letter. As now Patchett trying to pick it up. Now for Nate Colinda. And that's out of play, so we'll go back in front of Graff with 5:39 to go in the second and 9 seconds gone from the power play. 3-0 Celtics as Patchett to work against Schroeder. And controlled by Hickson. Here's a shot. Nice stretch by Graff. Left arm ripping it away from Marshall Cohen. Trying to cut in this 3-0 deficit that Dublin Jerome has given the Panthers in the second period. 13 seconds ticked off the power play clock for Springboro. Patchett now working against Schroeder and cleared away by Dublin Jerome just underneath the Centerville Elks logo on the boards by the sin bin. Cohen from Kiplinger, and the Panthers regroup in their own zone. 30 seconds gone from the power play with 5:19 to go in the second. Celtics up 3-0. Right wing off of Meyer's stick. Here comes Colinda. And thought about flying on the right wing. Tries to angle one past the neutral zone, but Hickson comes up with it. Hickson towards the slot. Lost the handle on the left-hand turn and cleared away by the green-cladded Celtics. Coleman Hauser now. Towards the right, here's Schroeder. Pinballs off his stick, almost ripped away by Dalton Miller. Right wing time, here is Marshall Cohen. Swap the other way, here's Hauser. Push forward, here's Hillard off a Celtic stick, and the puck bouncing right in front of me off the protective net. Thank goodness there's two layers. 3-0 Dublin Jerome. It's like knocking on wood, but you're knocking on glass, because, yeah. Here's Christopher Posacki going to work against Springboro's Schroeder, and another clear turned in by the Celtic PK Cell. Kiplinger just lets it go behind his net. As the closest Celtic out there is Dalton Miller in the attacking zone. 32 seconds left in this 5-on-4 for the Panthers. They're first on the day. Here's Schroeder, right wing. Graff directing traffic towards his right. Jenkins down low. Hillard and Hauser. Now Dalton Miller frees it. It's Chris Posacki, left wing. Chris Posacki to the left face-off circle. Into the glove of Kiplinger, who will chuck it towards the left. Picked back up by the Celtics and going the other side now. 5 seconds left in this 5-on-4. And now here comes Springboro. It's Hauser left wing, power play done. We're back to 5-on-5. Miller straight ahead, fresh out of the box is Bervin. No scratch it. Malicki, who scored a goal in this period. Turnaround shot, pass. And off the leg of Kiplinger. And save by Jay Kiplinger. Great save. 3:37 to go in the second as the Borough Blue crew pounds their fists on the glass. They're watching this game. They always support their Panthers hockey squad. After this game, there'll be a public skate. Rent some skates, go on the ice with the Panthers team. We'll drop it to the left of Kiplinger. Brian Wheeler took the Jerome side. Left corner, waiting at the left point is Vince Comfort. Now for Conte, Tyler Conte stood up by the Celtics, back on the attack. Comfort awaits in front of the blue, off of Kiplinger, going towards the point. Meyer back now for Jack Moses, right point. Back out to Moses, lots of open ice. Met up with Meyer, his pass. Thought it hit off Meyer, but it's cleaned away by the Springboro forward. And now here's Meyer working a 2-on-2. Graff will bounce one off towards his right. Harrison Graff flips towards the protective net and dropping in front of 3 fans. And we'll see if the fans try to toss it through the hole between the glass and the protective net. Some have done it. I can't say I'm one of those people, because normally I'm up here. 2:57 to go in the second. Still 3-0 for Dublin Jerome. Picked up in the defensive zone. Nate Colenda. Straight ahead out of the reach of Evan Shea. Springboro plays it behind the cage of Kiplinger towards the neutral zone. Hickson off the end of his stick. Controlled now by Schroeder. Schroeder, left face-off circle, looks back, swarmed by 3 green jerseys. 2 in the slot, and French comes up with it in front of Kellen Posaki. Bouncing puck towards the end boards, where Christopher Posaki try to play it. Helped out by Ethan French. 2:22 to go in the second. Jerome up 3-0. Peters going to work against French. Puck goes the other way. Back to the Celtics, and it will find its way for Springboro, but French intercepts the Springboro pass up front. Believe Schroeder had it. Now for Christopher Posaki. Left corner. Here's a check into the boards. Under 2 to play in the second. Still 3-0 Dublin Jerome. Here's Hauser towards the right. Getting around his check was Hickson. Now for Schroeder. Can't get enough mustard on the shot with Shea in front. And now Colenda. Puck swept towards his left, going for Carter Patchett, who's offside. 1:41 to go in the second. 3-0 for Dublin Jerome. We'll hit the timeline of Ohio HS Hockey. By the way, thank you, whoever runs Ohio HS Hockey. Year number 2 of retweeting all my tweets about broadcasts and final scores of the games I see. Like I mentioned, Muller defeated Orange, Olin-Tangi Orange 7-2. Here's a blast off the right arm of Kiplinger via Nick Augenstein. Left corner, battle for the puck down low. 1:26 to play in the second. Send towards Kiplinger and going wide. Scooped up by Dalton Miller. Almost through the legs of Adam Bervin. Nice job keeping it. Now for Patchett. From the right corner, Kiplinger quickly sliding towards his right. Check into the corner, Patchett. On the other side now, here comes Bervin. Meyer will pick it up before Bervin gets to it at the point. 1 minute to go in the second. Dublin Jerome has scored 2 in this frame, 1 in the first, and lead the Springboro Panthers 3-0. Been a good game thus far. Springboro withholding a lot of Dublin Jerome's attacks. Bervin keeps it in, sends it wide of Kiplinger's net, and Jensen picks up the puck in front of Brandon Hillard. Retreats back towards the point, sends it around the bend as Miller will play it. Miller looks around. Bervin's in the right face-off circle. Bervin plays it by the boards off the stick of Kiplinger. 27 seconds left in the second. Still 3-0 for the Celtics. Around the blue line now. Augenstein trying to drive it. Under 20 seconds now by Jenkins again. Like I mentioned, this Celtic squad very efficient with the puck in their attacking zone. If a shot doesn't work or a shot goes wide, they're back on top of it quick. 5 seconds left into the glove of Kiplinger, and a save with 4.1 seconds to go in the second, with the Celtics up on the Panthers 3-0. St. Charles 9, Thomas Worthington 0. And St. Charles Hockey on Twitter, after the shutout, they flashed 20 at home and 18 on guests for 2018. And they say it's been a wild, fun ride. It certainly has. How is it already the end of the regular season? And that's 30 minutes in the books as Dublin Jerome puts in goals 2 and 3 in the second period and takes a 3-0 lead against Springboro after 2. Great contest thus far as Dublin Jerome looking to win all but one of their games in conference play of the regular season, and Springboro looking to take down a giant in the Ohio High School Hockey League standings. We'll take a break. Third period's up next here on the YouTube home of South Metro Sports, brought to you by Dewey's Pizza at Austin Landing, Pep Boys, and Dayton Children's Hospital. 3-0 Jerome. We'll be back after the ice cut. We're entering the third period here at South Metro Sportsplex. It's a 3-0 Celtics lead after 2 periods of play, 1 in the first, 2 in the second for the Celtics. And all 3 goals scored by J.P. Weaver. He had the goal in the first period, and the 2 second period goals were by Kellen Posaki and Avery Malicki. As the Celtics and Panthers back out, we got 15 more minutes of hockey. For Springboro, this is their last home game of the regular season, and for Dublin Jerome, this is their last league game of the season before focuses turn to the CBJ Cup, which is the league tournament for the Capital Hockey Conference. As if you make the top 4 of the red, top 3 of the white, and you have the top spot in the blue division, and you get to play in the championship bracket. If you're not in those spots, you play in the consolation bracket. As Springboro trying to key it away, poked away from Dalton Miller. And now controlled by the Celtic, going back down the ice, and Springboro up the ice. That shot goes wide of Kiplinger. As now pulled by Ryan Jenkins. Far point for Peters. And Coleman Hauser almost picked up by Cohen. Tangles up with the stick of Nick Augenstein. Now the reach of Hickson. And the arm will go up for a penalty, the 3rd penalty of the game. And I think the referee just signaled hooking. 14-17 to go in regulation, where Dublin Jerome leads 3-0. 2 minutes in the box against Ryan Jenkins. And Springboro with their second power play of the day. Both teams are 0 for 1 thus far on the 5-on-4. Springboro hoping second time's the charm with the 5-on-4 advantage. Face-off controlled and zipping away with it. Left wing poked out of the reach of J.P. Weaver. Right now, Weaver's goal in the first period is the game winner. But still lots of hockey to play here at South Metro Sportsplex. Thanks for joining us this Saturday night. This is Lee W. Mound with you. Thank you for making this part of your weekend. Here's Hauser, blocked in front and cleared away by the Celtics. 25 seconds gone from the power play as the Panthers have to regroup with the puck, and quick as Marshall Cohen away from Weaver. Right wing, Cohen for Hillard. Hillard straight ahead for Hickson, working the right wing, pulling it towards the face-off circle. Here's Hauser going opposite point now. Back to Hauser, working some open room and bouncing, I believe hits off Graf's leg, or goes wide. 1:08 to go on the 5-on-4 and 13:22 to go in the third. 3-0 Celtics of Dublin Jerome. Schroeder sent forward. Panthers still attacking, but here's Nate Kolenda chasing the puck. Cohen awaits in front of the blue line. Hickson's on the other side. Schroeder carries it. Hickson sells it down, pushes forward to the face-off circle and wide of the goalie of Harrison Graf. Picked back up by the Panthers as Schroeder matched up with Weaver. Back to the point. Here's Marshall Cohen in the neutral zone, pulling it back in front of the red line. 30 seconds left. Time for the Celtics to make 2 changes on the PK cell. Off the stick of Hickson. Wide of Harrison Graff. Now for Hauser with 19 seconds to go on the 5-on-4. And cleared away on target of Jay Kiplinger off the stick of Nick Augenstein. And the Celtics will swap out 2 as the power play is almost done. Schroeder takes the right wing, flicks it behind the referee's back around the right corner. That's icing on Springboro with 12:14 to go in the third, and we're back to 5-on-5 hockey. Neither team has scored a power play goal tonight. Dublin Jerome is 0 for 1, and Springboro now 0 for 2. We'll drop it to Kiplinger's right with 12:14 to go in the third. And a 3-0 Celtics advantage. Christopher Posaki takes this face-off for the Celtics. Looking the other side for Jack Moses. We'll race it back out. Ethan French had the last Celtic offensive touch. Here's Long, 5-hole save by Harrison Graff. Great job by Long to get to that takeaway. Here's Hickson, flips it high off a Celtic stick. 11:47 to go in the third. Celtics still lead 3-0. Red line time. Marshall Cohen away from Shea. Going far right wing for Hickson, and Cohen was behind the red line. So that's icing on Springboro. 11:38 to go in the third. 3-0 as Dublin Jerome leads the Springboro Panthers. Last home game. Springboro does have a game at Springfield's Chiller, which is downtown Springfield. And that will be Bishop Watterson taking on the Panthers in Springfield, not to be confused with Springboro. We have too many Springs. We'll have a whistle with 11:34 to go in the third. That was a joke. And we'll go in the neutral zone, the too many Springs, not the offside. We'll drop it with Hillard squaring up down low with Brendan King. Picked up by Hillard. Hillard pushed into the boards. Flicked wide of Graff. Here's Long. Just poked away by King in time. Eisenson going up. Now for Long in the slot. Hillard pushed away. Back to Hillard. And it's crowbarred away quickly. Marshall Cohen can't keep it in the attacking zone. Panthers defense on top of it. Myers straight ahead away from Booth. Back to the Celtics as Bergen directing the stick towards the right. There's no icing that time. Here's Marshall Cohen working against Brandon King in the locker room doors. Cohen sweeps around defensively. He's got Meyer towards the right. Past him on a screen. Past Booth and also Eisenson. Marshall Cohen still driving. Left face-off circle. His shot blocked by Ryan Jenkins, who stayed skate for him in his attacking zone. 10.5 to play in regulation. 3-0 Dublin Jerome. And the puck rolls towards the corner, back this way. Icing on the Celtics. We'll go back in front of Harrison Graff with 10:21 to go in the third. 3-0 Celtics off the goals from Avery Malicki, J.P. Weaver, and Kellen Posaki. Panthers fell last night at Zionsville, Indiana, and Carmel, which is north of Indianapolis. 3-1 to the Zionsville Eagles. Beat Alter the previous night, which would be 2 nights ago. 7-1 at Kettering Recreational Center against the Alter Knights. Here comes the Celtic attack. Here's Hauser on the check. On the body of Carter Patchett. Wide of Kiplinger. Augenstein trying to reach back for it. Peters for Hauser. The Zamboni corner. Stopped at the point. Nice footwork by Kellen Posaki. However, he's offside and will go back in the neutral zone with 9:53 to go in the third. 3-0 for Dublin Jerome. Again, all these fans coming out here tonight, whether they be for the Springboro Panthers around the area or the Celtic fans that made the trip, which is northwest Dublin area. Nice city, western part of Columbus. 3 school districts, Jerome, Kaufman, and Scioto. And all three schools have an Irish theme to them. Very lovely town. We'll have a delayed penalty called and a whistle. And hooking against Peters. Hooking against Peters, giving the Celtics their second power play on the night. 9:35 to go in the third. It's 3-0 favoring the Celtics, donning the darkish green kit with the pale gold and white stripes on the sleeves, white numbers, pale gold trim, and white letters. Springboro in the home whites with the blue numbers, gray trim, blue letters as Hillard to work. And the Celtics send it back out of the neutral zone, but quickly picked up by Adam Bervin. 10 seconds gone from the Celtics' second power play. Right wing time afforded. Here's a nice check from behind by Meyer. Bumps the puck carrier, Brian Wheeler. And Kiplinger has the loose puck. And will drop it in front of Kiplinger towards his left. 14 seconds into this power play and 9:20 to play. 3-0 favoring the Celtics of Dublin. Jerome. Licky back on top of it. Zamboni corner. Wheeler gets a nice pass. Chased by Cohen in the circle. And Meyer too. Back for Wheeler. Cross ice. Now here's Jenkins driving. Here's Hillard going back towards the left point. Wheeler. Celtics very patient. Shot kicked away by Malecki. And going wide of Kiplinger. Now Malecki drives it with 1:15 to go on this 5-on-4. 8:48 to go in the third. 3-0 for the Celtics. Wheeler behind the goal line. Malecki driving. Going around. Now played. Here's a shot. Top shelf. And Bervin saved by Kiplinger. Top of the shoulders area. 1:03 to go in this 5-on-4 for Dublin. Jerome, and a fresh power play unit out there for the Celts. Ryan Schroeder, along with a Fordit, Hickson, and Cohen for that four-man penalty kill cell. Off of Cohen, doesn't cleanly get to Kiplinger, and Cohen make it Hickson, clearing it the rest of the way. Resending it back is Evan Shea, I believe. Here's French flying on the right, centering it up for Christopher Posaki. Off the right boards is Marshall Cohen. Hits it off the glass. Straight ahead, Hickson breakaway. Curves it around, and a save, Harrison Graff. Hickson had a breakaway opportunity. Graff, great job reading Hickson. Tough to defend, maybe the toughest shot to defend. Maybe second only, having lots of bodies in your way and you can't see anything. But Hickson denied by Harrison Graff, who's still pitching a shutout with 8 minutes to go in the third and 25 seconds remaining on the Celtics power play, the second on the day for Jerome. Left wing, picked away by Hickson, keeping it away from Joel Eisenson. Back to the Celtics in their attacking zone, pushed forward by Booth, shot off the elbows up front. Eisenson gets it back. Here's Hickson now with 3 seconds left on the power play on a very spaced out 2-on-2. And Hauser is off the bench, replacing Peters. 7.5 to play in the third. Both teams now 0 for 2 on the power play. And it's 3-0 Dublin Jerome. 2 goals in the second, 1 in the first for the Celtics. None so far for Springboro. Scooped up by Dublin Jerome. Left wing time, Eisenson. Eisenson shot into the glove of Kiplinger. And a save by Jay Kiplinger. 7:10 to play in the third. It's 3-0 Celtics to score. Brand new army of Celts out there. Brand new pack of Panthers too. Looking at the results of Springboro's schedule thus far. Available on borohockey.org. Miller jammed up with Meyer, but it's sent in for Patchett, right wing. Patchett shot into the chest of Kiplinger. And a save by Jay Kiplinger, now with 6:58 to play in the third. 3-0 for Springboro. Last time Springboro's offense was shut out was January 19th. That was senior day against Moeller. 1-0 Crusaders winning that contest. That was a great game back and forth. Out of the reach of everyone as Long hammered down on the send towards the zone. Back off the end boards, Kiplinger bats the loose puck for Marshall Cohen, chased by Patchett. Cohen cuts towards the left, trying to shake off Miller, who lost his balance. Here comes Cohen. Cohen past the blue line, hammers it high over the net of Graff. Now in the right corner, Patchett. Push forward. Patchett working against Meyer now defensively. Meyer sweeps it towards the slot. Hillard trying to get it on target. Lots of green bodies around Meyer. Now down this way. Here's a nice feed. Left behind Augustine. The pickup just a little bit too late by Miller. Now Patchett towards the left. Around the corner. Marshall Cohen picks it up with under 6 to play in the third. 3-0 Dublin Jerome. Feeder pass out of the reach of Hickson and icing against the Panthers. Icing Panthers, 5:55 to go in the third. 3-0 Dublin Jerome. Previous to that 1-0 loss at home against Muller, Panthers have not been shut out on the season. You'd have to go back in preseason play at the Finley Cube where the Trojans, not to be confused with the Findlay Oilers, and so far I haven't made that mistake in 2 seasons. Knock on glass. From Kiplinger. Left point. So now the reach of Springboro's goalie. Afforded on the chase. Wheeler doubles it back behind him for Avery Malicki. Cohen, his stick lost. Out of his reach. Trying to hold Malicki. Now here comes Hauser. Hauser cutting in front. Afforded. 5:24 to go in the third. 3-0 for Dublin Jerome. Afforded to Hickson. Here's Hickson now. He's got Schroeder open ice right side. Great pass from Hickson. Here's Schroeder now, right face-off circle. Swings away from his defender. Drop back towards the slot. No one there to finish. Here's Cohen. Wide left on the curve. Arm goes up, and that's going to be a delayed penalty on Dublin Jerome. Third power play on the way for Springboro, and interference is the call from the Stripes. Interference going against the Celtics. To the box will go Vince Comfort. 5:01 to play in regulation. 3-0 for Dublin Jerome. Like I mentioned, when these two teams played, you have to go back to Thanksgiving weekend 2017. Timeout taken by Coach Morris to discuss this power play to get the troops on the attacking side of the board. Springboro looking to avoid being shut out for the second time this regular season. Again, going back to November 25th, this was at the Dublin Chiller, the home of Jerome, Kaufman, and Scioto hockey, which would be Celtics, Shamrocks. I know it's short for Rocks, but Shamrock sounds cooler. And the Irish. Springboro had 3 of those 5 games of the Dublin Chiller in the Thanksgiving tournament go to a shootout. And Springboro beat the Blue Squad of St. Ignatius 3-2 in a shootout. Beat Jerome 3-2 in a shootout. Lost 3-2 in a shootout to Upper Arlington. Panthers 14-10-4 on the schedule. Make it 15-11-4 after the win at Alter and the loss at Zionsville. One more game in the regular season tomorrow morning at 11:30 at the Springfield Chiller against Bishop Watterson. Bishop Watterson's already picked up their spot as the top team in the blue, and just 4 teams in that division. The room for error is very, very small. Bishop Watterson handled the blue division quite well, and they have a spot in the championship bracket of the CBJ Cup. 4:42 to go in the third. 3-0 for Dublin Jerome. Springboro with a third power play. Back for the Panthers. Kiplinger standing in the crease. Swept towards the right is Kellen Posaki, who's got 1 of the 3 goals. Sends it down. Here comes a Celtic chugging behind, and Christopher Posaki can't quite get it away from Hickson. Here's Cohen to Hickson on the feed in the referee crease, and bought back at the point by Kellen Posaki. That's out of here with 4:15 to play. 3-0 Dublin Jerome. The Celtics are 14-1 in conference play. The Panthers 7-5-1-1. Like I mentioned, right now Springboro is on the driver's side of one of the top 3 spots in the CHC White Division. 3 ahead of Olentangy Orange and a whistle. And since Olentangy Orange lost by 5 to Moeller, I believe, if the standings are up to date on the site, I believe that means Olentangy Orange can't jump the Panthers for spot number 3. So now Olentangy and the Panthers are battling for seed number 2 and seed number 3, which is just how you're seated in the CBJ Cup. 55 seconds left in the 5-on-4 for Springboro. 3:53 off a Graff rebound, swept away. Picked up now, I believe that's Brandon King out there. Don's an alternative captain A. No, that was Brian Wheeler. Towards the corner where the Celtics push the Panthers back in their own zone deep. Hauser has it towards the left. Marshall Cohen back to Hauser, who tangles it between his legs. Looking for Cohen now. Cohen holding his body against an incoming Wheeler. Now here's Hickson right wing with 20 seconds left on this 5-on-4. Myers got to play it on a bounce. Can't quite get it to the point. Now there's a breakaway opportunity for Shea. Shea curved away. Marshall Cohen right on his tail. Good defense by Cohen. Hickson battling against Wheeler. Here's Hauser down low. Hillard towards the point. Power play done. 5-on-5 again. Springboro 0 for 3 on the power play. Dublin Jerome 0 for 2. Celtics up by a score of 3-0. The neutral zone. Cohen plays it past the blue. Turnover. Here's Dalton Miller going back this way. Shot and save. Kiplinger. Dalton Miller looking for his first goal tonight, and the 4th goal of the game would have been the first one of the 3rd period. 2:44 to go in the 3rd. A couple new Celtics out on the ice, taking the place of Adam Bervin, who's last into the bench. 3-0 for the Celtics. Jammed up by Halverson. Pushed forward. Meyer gets it away. It's a 3-on-2 back this way with a 3rd Celtic not too far behind. Blisted off the shoulders of, I believe that's Christopher Posaki out there. Picked up left corner by Callum Posaki. Augenstein starts to slide backwards towards the Springboro bench for Patchett, excuse me, not Pickett. Peters has it, right wing, behind Halverson. Looking on the other side, off the stick of Long, and somehow staying in play and not leaving the ice. 2:02 to play in the 3rd. This broadcast again brought to you by Dewey's Pizza of Austin's Landing, Pep Boys, and Dayton Children's Hospital. Here's Augustine, some open ice, pushed in the slot, turns it over as Hickson to the Zamboni corner. Around the bends where Marshall Cohen awaits it. Cohen flicks it off the glass. Here's Hickson. Peters to work. Augenstein back out towards the point. 1:39 to go in regulation. Shot. Kiplinger had the save. Couldn't hold on to the rebound. And now here's Hickson to work. Hickson, right wing, going against 2 Celtic defenders. Takes the left face-off circle. And that's a catch and a bobble and back in the glove of Harrison Graff. 1:25 to play in the 3rd. Springboro looking to avoid their 2nd shutout in the season. The Celtics lead 3-0. So right now it should be Olentangy and Springboro, your 1, 2, and 3, along with Moeller in the white division. I don't believe Olentangy Orange can jump for spot number 3 in the white division. Of course, that's just going up the standings. CapitalHockeyConference.com. Cohen to work, 1:14 to play in the 3rd. By the way, fans, on February 7th, I believe it's the 7th, that's when the sectional bracket is announced for the Columbus District. Most of the games are at the Ice House, the Ohio Health Ice House, which is the side rink of Nationwide Arena. So we're down to our final minute of regulation in Springboro's last home game of the 2017-2018 regular season. 49 seconds to play as Hickson trying to poke it away from J.P. Weaver. Celtics trying to prevent Springboro from scoring to hold their side of the shutout. Now taking a slow right wing. It is in the hands of Bergen. Shot goes wide. Malecki fed Bervin behind him. 29 seconds to go. Here's Hickson. He'll take the right wing in front of the Celtics. Hickson to the house. Shot. And off of Graff. And the net comes loose with 21.6 seconds to go in the 3rd. As Springboro trails 3-0. And Harrison Graff will slowly arise Looks like he might be okay, might be shaken up a bit. Can't tell if that's one of the pegs out of the net or it holds into the ice. I can't tell out there. 21.6 seconds. Ref has to fix it all by himself. Looks like Graff is standing and watching. Looks like it receives the Harrison Graff seal of approval. I mentioned this in the Centerville game earlier this afternoon. There was a team, I think it was against Springboro, there was a team that just let the net go, and here you go, ref, you fix it. Is it fixed? Okay, back in. Some goalies help, some goalies just leave. And goal for Springboro! Last touch by Sam Hickson, and the shutout is over with 16.7 seconds to go in the third. As it is a 3-1 Celtic advantage with 16.7 seconds to go in the third. Face off center ice. Hickson against Carter Patchett. Flip towards Kiplinger. Springboro gets their first goal of the game late in the third. Past Harrison Graff. 6 seconds left. Here's Augenstein looking for a goal as he tumbles almost over the crossbar, but lands on the back of Kiplinger. Looks like everyone's okay there. 3.8 seconds to go in the third. Springboro now trails 3-1. With that goal, Moeller is the only team to shut out the Panthers on the regular season. What a game that was. The Crusaders didn't get their first goal until middle of the third period, I think. The pegs go back in. Ref fixes it up. One of the refs talks to Kiplinger, make sure he's okay. Wasn't a nasty tumble. That looked like that could have hurt. 3 seconds left from the face-off, around the corner, and that's the game. Your final score tonight, the Dublin Jerome Celtics 3 and the Springboro Panthers 1. With the win, Dublin Jerome is 23-6-3 on the year, 15-1 in conference play in their final CHC battle of the regular season. Springboro with one more league game to play tomorrow at Springfield in Clark County, Ohio against Bishop Watterson. They'll fall to 7-6-1-1 in CHC play and 15-12-4 on the regular season. Great game as the Celtics win it 3-1 here at South Metro Sports. Again, thank you to the sponsors of Austin Landing's Dewey's Pizza, Pep Boys, and Dayton Children's. This is Lee W. Mallon signing off, and that will conclude the 2017-2018 regular season coverage of the Springboro Panthers here on the YouTube channel of South Metro Sports. It's been an honor and a pleasure to bring you all this hockey here on YouTube. If you join us tomorrow on the Centerville Elks Hockey Channel, you'll catch the last regular season game for the Elks as the Mason Comets are in town. That's a 2:30 start, and we hope you join us for that. Of course, the Buckeye Year-End Tournament will be the last weekend of February on this channel, so stay tuned for that and the details. 3-1, Celtics win it here at South Metro Sports. This is Lee W. Mallon signing off here on the YouTube home of South Metro Sports.